Good evening, everybody. I would like to call this regular meeting of Arnprior Town Council to order. Today is Monday, October the 27th, and it's 6:30 p.m. Roll call, please.
Councillor Cooper?
Here.
Councillor Toner?
Here.
Councillor Burnett?
Here.
Councillor Cloutier?
Here.
Councillor Strike?
Here.
County Councillor Lynch?
Here.
And Mayor McGee.
Here. I would like to begin by acknowledging that the land on which we are gathering is the traditional unceded territory of the Anishinaabe people. The Algonquin Nation have lived on this land for thousands of years, long before the arrival of the European settlers, and we are grateful to be present in this territory. Adoption of the agenda, please.
Be it resolved that the agenda for the regular meeting of council dated Monday, October 27th, 2025 be adopted.
Thank you. Mover and a seconder for that, please. Councillor Cloutier, County Councillor Lynch, all in favor? Thank you. Do we have any disclosures of pecuniary interest tonight? Seeing none. We received any questions? Are there any questions from previous council minute? No. Adoption of minutes of previous meetings, please.
That the minutes of the regular and special meetings of council listed under items 7A and B on the agenda be adopted.
Thank you. Mover and seconder, please. Councillor Cooper, Councillor Burnett, all in favor? Thank you. Starting off, we've got under awards, delegations, and presentations, we do have one delegation from our very own Ottawa Valley Strikers, the cricket club. So if you want to come on up and thank you, Jennifer. We've got this new fancy mic system, so we need to have that.
Good evening, Council. Thanks for this opportunity. I will formally introduce myself Gaganpal Singh Fasin. I'm the president of Ottawa Valley Strikers Cricket Club. Here's my colleague.
Good evening. Thank you for this opportunity. Myself, Praveen Kumar. I'm the team manager. I moved to Arnprior 3 years back.
We have two other members. We'd like to introduce them as well.
Hi, myself Ankit Kaparia. I am the captain of Ottawa Valley Strikers. Yeah, thank you. Myself Gaurav Deep Singh. I'm the coordinator of the Ottawa Valley Strikers, and it's a pleasure to be here.
Thank you.
Yes, thanks for this opportunity. So basically, we wanted to use this platform to showcase what we have been doing as Ottawa Valley Strikers, where we are, what's the progress of the cricket in Arnprior, and what are the next steps. So we have created a small presentation, so we'll go through that. So history of cricket in Arnprior. So as we all know, we have discussed, I have presented this in diversity committee as well, during the jersey launch as well, that cricket is one of the oldest sport in Arnprior. When we started playing, we started researching, and we found that there are records that there was a cricket team in Arnprior in starting 1850s till 1960s. And what the oldest cricket club, which is in Ottawa, is Ottawa Valley Cricket Council, is one of the oldest cricket clubs which survived. There were cricket clubs in Almont, Carlton Place, Kingston, Perth, and Arnprior. And there were records of the matches which were played between Perth and Arnprior, Almont versus Arnprior, and Ottawa versus Arnprior. So it's I think after now, let's say 75 years, we are reviving that supports here in Arnprior. We have taken some screenshots, but I know Emily also mentioned there are other records as well of the cricket players and the cricket clubs in Arnprior. We'll go to the next slide, please.
No.
Sorry.
This one, right?
I think so.
Okay.
There we go.
Okay, perfect. So we started playing here a few years back. So we met, when I moved here in 2022, I met a person in grocery store. He said, like, you play cricket? I said, yes. Like, okay, we are playing cricket in the school ground if you want to join. So I went there, 5-6 players were playing. So I went there, then I liked it because we have been playing cricket a lot since childhood. So giving my background, I came as an international student in 2014 at Carleton University. So I did my graduation back home in India and did a master's degree from Carleton University. So I used to play a lot of cricket back home, and then I played cricket in Carleton University and in Ottawa, and then I got my first job in Toronto. I played there, and then when I came back here, it was great to find that there's a cricket club, people playing here as well. So it's kind of a very welcoming, and it's a very good platform to play the sports which you have been playing. Like I play table tennis, I play volleyball, but the cricket I've been playing since childhood. So it's a different, let's say, feeling while playing cricket. We started with 5-7 players, but within few weeks, we grew to like 20 players. And we started a WhatsApp group, and then that group keeps growing day by day. And I think within 2 seasons, we have 50 plus players. So this is one of the photo which this was on the sports day from 2023 when we played in the school ground behind the hospital. Yes, so I know something happened there, but left photo is from so we did a jersey launch. So what happened when we got a big crew of players who are playing, so we find that there are many competitive players who are playing very good cricket. And there were few players, including Ankit, who was going to play from a club in Ottawa. He was traveling there every weekend. So we said, okay, we'll formalize our team and we'll start participating in tournaments for the players who want to play competitive cricket. So we did a jersey launch here in Arnprior, and Lisa also participated, Chris, Dan. So we launched a jersey. It's a very beautiful jersey with vibrant colors and the Arnprior logo on the front. And our sponsor, Avneet Bahal, sponsored the jerseys. After that, we participated in multiple tournaments in Ottawa, both indoor and outdoor. That's the photo, right-hand side photo is our first tournament which we played in Ottawa. That was 12-team tournament. And that was we were recognized, we started getting recognized as a very good team after that tournament. And our team is like people resonate as a team from Arnprior is here to play a game, right? Go to next one. Okay. And then the most recent success, we conducted a Capital Cup here in Arnprior. So this is the first tournament hosted by our team, and 5 teams participated in this. There was a demand from 8 teams to participate, but due to it was our first inaugural tournament, so we played with 5 teams. 95 players participated in this, and we played, half of the matches were conducted in Kannada and half of the matches were conducted here, but the final and semi-finals were conducted here. And on the final day, we hosted 2 matches, and it was a very vibrant day that day. We had 50 to 60 players on the ground, and very deserving final, and Black Panthers team from Ottawa won that match. But now after that we are getting a request from approx 10 teams to participate in this tournament. Good thing is our ground, we are playing in McLean Diamond Tree. Our ground have a facility for lights, which is a huge benefit, because in Ottawa there is no ground which have the light facility. So that's why even if we start in the evening at 5, we can easily play till 8:30. So that's a huge plus point, because of which many teams prefer to play with us. So and many teams upfront want to come to Arnprior to play with us. So we do get a request on our social media from many new teams from Kannada, Strittsville, Barhaven, that they are willing to travel to come to play with us, because they get a longer time span in the evening to play with us. Yes. So, and now I will pass to Mr. Praveen.
Thank you, Gagan.
Next slide.
So far, we were playing kind of, semi-professional cricket. And as Gagan mentioned, we are getting a lot of inquiries about the Arnprior ground. And so we want to bring the cricket to the next level. So in order to do that, we need to put turf, because currently we are playing on the soil. After playing a game, what we call pitch, where we deliver the ball, that's getting damaged. So we're not able to play more games, or we're not able to conduct big tournaments there. So in order to do that, we were discussing with few of your town members, and they were all supportive. So we had some options like to put a turf. So in order to put a turf, we already got the turf, which is the most expensive part of it. So we have got the most advanced, nice turf. Even though it's a little bit expensive, but we got it through a support. So we have the turf here right now. But to put the turf, we tried different options. We tried to put turf on top of the grass, but unfortunately the ball is not bouncing. In cricket the ball needs to bounce. So we were not successful in implementing the turf in as-is manner. So what we're proposing here is to we need support and approval from the town in order to do the installation of the turf. For this process, we have to remove at least 6, 7 to 10 inches of soil. And once the soil is removed, that has to be filled with either metal dust or black soil, then compact it, level it, and on the top, we can put the turf. So basically, we know this particular ground is a baseball ground. And as we also want to make sure all the sports have been getting, that kind of, it's like putting the turf should not affect the baseball. So we have found a place which is outside the baseball ring where we can put this turf, and the turf will be matching to the grass so that there is no risk to the baseball players. And similarly, we can also continue playing cricket. So for this process, that's our first request, like we need the approval. So I'll go to the next slide.
Just one small addition that the turf is actually a strip.
Yeah.
So it's a strip, let's say, for example, I'm giving the rough estimation, maybe 10 by 20? Yes, it's a strip of 10 by 20 which we need, because we don't need, everything else on the side is 100% perfect. Grass and the gravel, that is 100% okay. But the turf is main issue. The main issue is like currently, because we play on gravel, that baseball pitch, it brings the uneven bounce, due to which we are not able to bring the kids on the ground because it's not safe for them. That's why we are only limiting this to adults and only limiting with the, let's say, tennis ball, because it brings the uneven bounce, which is okay for adults because we don't get that much impacted, but it's not safe for the kids, because that's the one hiccup, that we do have kids in the community who want to come and try and play, but we can't accommodate them right now. Second thing is, like, we are getting prepared on this pitch. Our team performance also gets impacted, because when we go and play a professional tournament, this year we played semi-finals of the tournament, our all players doesn't have a practice on the actual pitch. We are used to our own turf. So there are teams which come and play here, they loses from us because we are very used to this pitch and we know the dynamics. But when we go on actual turf, it's different. So that's why we wanted to bring that if we want to grow cricket in if we want to go participate in tournaments and grow the cricket.
Yeah.
Go to the next.
So, like, installing this turf will definitely attract more teams to come and play here, more tournaments to come here, because this will be the first ground for cricket with floodlight and a proper dimensions and in a beautiful spot. It's a very lovely spot. Like last time when we had the Capital Cup, we had almost 50 plus players. So and out of that, I think 80% of the players visited first time to Arnprior. So we were mentioning to them about the beauty of the Arnprior, what they can do here, like what all attractions we have here. So they all promised, like, next time when they come with the family. So, definitely this is going to help us to boost the tourism, boost the local business. And also this is going to bring revenue for the ground, because even when we are planning to put the turf, a lot of teams from Ottawa and Ottawa Valley is showing interest in booking. So last time, I think we managed to book around 100 hours
Yes.
of the
Yeah.
ground.
Yeah.
But with the turf, it'll be going to a bigger number. We already have like inquiries about this, and definitely this is going to boost the revenue for the ground. And installing the turf will also help us to do some kind of cricket promotion for the youngsters, because last 2 weeks back we had a teacher from a school who visited our ground to see the game, and he was so impressed, and he told me like he used to play when he was young in England, then he left. So definitely I'm pretty sure like we can promote this in the school. And I don't know how many of you are aware about the cricket fever in Canada, because last year in 2020 World Cup, Canada represented. The coming 2020 World Cup that is supposed to happen next year, Canada has a team. And it's the time where we can promote youngsters to this field and maybe get more winning cups for Canada. So we want to set a platform. And I basically lived in different parts of Canada. I lived in Manitoba, Thunder Bay, and here. So in Manitoba, years back, we started the cricket there. We encouraged. We had players from Manitoba playing for under-19, playing for our 40s tournament. So that was one of the victory we had. Like even though we were not able to represent it, but we were able to bring the young generation. Similarly, in Thunder Bay, the same thing happened. There was no ground. We started a ground, and first year we had problems in getting the fund. From the next year onwards, it was like the local business was booming, because we used to have Northern Ontario League in Thunder Bay, 3 days. Teams from Timmins, Sudbury, Sault Ste. Marie, all those players come there, they stay for the tournament. It kind of attracted the local business. So especially with Arnprior, with the beauty of the Arnprior, we are pretty sure like we can get more attraction towards here and also boost the revenue for the ground.
Yeah. So currently, 5 players from Brentford come to play with us. We do have a team in Pembroke. They always come to play friendly matches with us. There are other players from Carp, Kannada, who come and join us. And there are regular, from our core group of 30 players, there are 4 players who come from Carp and Kannada, and they participate in all internal matches as well as external matches. As we are getting popularity on social media and we are participating in more tournaments, more people getting inquiry. The only thing is we want to retain good players. At the end, what happens is like if they are good players, they want to play competitive cricket. If they don't get that kind of infrastructure, we start losing those players. And this has happened. We have a player moved from Nova Scotia to Arnprior. He is right now in Arnprior. And many professional teams from Ottawa are trying because they are competitive players, right? We need that kind of infrastructure, because if they play local, that will inspire more people, more youth, because then people, if we have strong players, we will have strong team and we'll have strong coaching. Right?
The new turf will definitely grow the cricket here as well, to go to that level. Currently we're struggling to match to that level, but this will help us.
Yes, so this is, we just did the quick calculations that how much it will impact in the revenue projection community by considering if we have a turf next year. So this year we hosted 100 hours and 30 matches approximately. Next year, if this happens, this frequency will increase, because currently what happens if we host a match on Sunday morning, we have a window to play between 7 to 12 mostly. Most of the teams are available in that time, but we can't play back-to-back match. So after one match, we have to work on the pitch. We have to let it settle down. And that's why we can only play one match on a weekend, versus if we have a proper turf, then there is no issue. We can play multiple matches on a day. So each match brings about this much revenue. We will have ground rentals. And yes, it will help in promoting the local economic activity, promotes the diversity, community engagement. And overall, it will inspire the youth in the community to be more engaged in the sports. Yes. That's all. Yeah. Yes.
Thank you.
Any questions you have?
Councillor Lynch?
Thank you, Mayor. Are you sure you want to give up the home field advantage by putting the carpet down?
Well, we want to prepare more. This year we got a lot of requests from a lot of new teams, right? But 2 teams from Bar Heaven are on the wait list for the next year Capital Cup. Like we have our 6 teams already lined up, and we can only accommodate more teams if we have a turf, right? Because there is no ground in Kanata, there is no ground in Strittsville. The only ground we have is there a ground in the that's a Rideau ground, right? Yeah, Rideau ground. So Rideau ground is the one which is dedicated to cricket. So basically, the Governor General at that time donated that ground to a city with a promise that only cricket can be played in this. So that's the only dedicated ground. But in Ottawa, we have approximately now 40 clubs, and cricket is growing. So those grounds are not able to accommodate this much of players. We play in school grounds in Strittsville and Kanata, but the hiccup there is that those cannot be booked for cricket. So it's like we show up, if people are playing there, we can't play, which is not good because teams are traveling. So that's why many teams prefer to come to play with us, because we have a ground reserved. It's dedicated for cricket during that time. So they have a peace of mind. If they are coming, they will come happily, enjoy, right? So.
Councillor Cloutier?
So it's a question more for Graham. Graham, would imagine that you're all for this, but can you help me to understand where it's actually going to go?
So,
There's too many mics on, I'm just gonna turn one off.
There you go. So the club did invite me out, and they did a really good job of kind of laying out what the pitch would look like, so I could kind of get a sense of what they were looking at doing. So, excuse me, just to kind of give you the orientation of where this strip of turf would go is basically behind second base where the infield meets the outfield. So it would kind of be like that 10 by 20 strip as they described that would kind of run out into center field. So we met to discuss the type of options of what the sub base would have to be. The turf would be no issue for any sport to occur on there, as long as it had an appropriate sub base, so that if someone dives for a fly ball in center field, that what's underneath that turf isn't too firm. So effectively it will look very similar to the grass that's out there. The base will be similar. It'll just have a little bit more compaction, so they kind of have the density that they need, the turf to sit on appropriately, and then ideally get the appropriate bounce that they're looking for when pitching.
So this won't affect baseball at all, softball, or anything that happens once it's in?
No.
Councillor Cooper?
Thank you. Question for Graham as well. Graham, budgetary implications of this, are they minimal, or would we need a new budget line item for this? How can you walk me through kind of what your insight on that is?
Yeah, so as kind of part of our budget preparations for next year, we've kind of assigned about $4,000 of site work in there, which was just kind of a rough estimate in terms of what we'd need to have in terms of excavating the space and putting the proper aggregate and sub base down so that you can kind of have that compaction that they're looking for. And as they've mentioned, they've already kind of done the most expensive part in purchasing the 10 by 20 strip of turf, and then just ensuring that it's adequately, I don't know if anchored is the right word, but remains in place. So.
Councillor Toner?
Oh, thank you for the presentation. Excuse me. Is Ball Diamond 3, is that the Wayne Lavallee field?
That's correct.
Okay. I know the Optimist Club, back maybe 25 years ago or 30 years ago, I think they raised money to build that field. Should we reach out to them and let them know? I mean, I know it's a town asset. And it is called Optimus Wayne Lavallee Ballpark or Ball Field. Is that something you think we should do out of courtesy, or I'm just looking for your thoughts. I'm on the Optimist Club too. It would be nice actually to know that there's something else, because I know there are some new ball teams that are playing, and I'm just, one of my other questions, I don't know how much the field right now gets used for baseball, but I mean, can you see there being like competing field hours between youth baseball, the Expos and the Strikers?
So to answer, I'll say a few of the questions in there. One, cricket has been played on this field for the last couple of years, and there was no kind of, I'll say, consultation with the Optimist Club to say, are you okay if we pick a different sport in that space? And you know, this modification does not change the field use in my mind. It just allows us to have expanded use of an asset that they gifted to the community and have it used more than it's been used in much of its life. Still allows for baseball to be played. In terms of its current use, we for the most part right now it's actually been between the cricket club and the Canada Cubs, who have struggled to find enough ball time in the city of Ottawa, and they have some local players from Arnprior that play on the team, so they've secured one night a week here, and then ball tournaments. The Ottawa Valley Expos that have been working for the last couple of years now, they have now had a team that has graduated that will now allow them to play on a larger field. So yes, there will be some competition for field time now that we have one of our younger teams playing in that space, but out of the 3 ball diamonds down at McLean Park, Wayne Lavely Field is the one that is used the least currently, because of its size, and you know, you kind of have to be at that U13, U14 age group before you can start playing on that field. So outside of tournaments, a lot of softball games typically prefer just fields 1 and 2, especially if it's in joint with the ball fields in McNabb. So everyone's kind of playing on a similar field size. So yes, there will be competition for field use, but if anything, it just means that instead of 3-4 days a week, maybe we might see it 7 days a week in use. So
perfect. And a question now for the Strikers. I know you had mentioned, like right now, it's mostly adults that are using, but you did mention that the youth can't play because of the unpredictability of the ball. So is there like a large amount of youth in the community that would benefit from using this field with the, because I know the main goal for the Optimist Club is Friend of Youth, and we always want to promote youth activities. So I mean, if this would help promote youth playing this awesome sport, I mean, I think that would be fantastic.
Yes. Yeah, 100%. There are kids in the community, like any internal day match, like 20 players show up. There are 5 or 6 kids from the families or the players only who come and join us, but we don't let them play. The thing is, because it's very unpredictable, right? Even his elder son is going for a cricket coaching, but we don't let him play on a full regular ball, which we do, because where he's getting coaching, it's indoor turf where they get the proper idea of a seam or the bounce. But here we don't let him get that exposure, because main risk is the safety. So if we get that, it will motivate. And we also had the plan that we will work with the town to arrange once a week a cricket coaching camp in the evening, and we have players who want to volunteer and teach cricket to that, but we don't have that kind of infrastructure right now. So this year, that's why we postponed that plan to next year. That's in our agenda. Like if we get a ground, that will be one of the agenda in our planning, that there will be once a week, 1 hour, 2 hour, depending on the time slots that we will have for the kids to come and join. Just for example, last year sports day, we did the cricket sports day in the ground with the town. Approximately 15 new kids came and tried the cricket, right? We were doing with the plastic ball, the light ball, but they were liking the idea of hitting the shots, breaking big shots, right? So we got a very good response. We want to continue that, and that's what we were talking in that day. We were having an internal team meeting. of our core committee. One of our vision is that we really want the local kids in the community to represent in the cricket in the tournaments in Ottawa and provincial level. Right. So that's one of the vision we have.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
Well, thank you very much for being here. We really appreciate it.
Thank
And that was a great presentation.
Perfect.
Thank you for the opportunity.
Thanks a lot for the
course.
opportunity.
Thank you. And next up, we've got the Cultural Night Market and Summer Programming Wrap-Up. And I saw Emily here. I imagine we're going to hear from her.
Good evening. A little technological movement there. It's always a joy to come and join you. Thank you so much for having me, Council. So I just wanted to run through a little bit of a museum update. It's supposed to be halfway through the year, so there you go. Here we have our pinball workshop that we did at Winterfest, which was awesome. So I wanted to start the conversation about the museum by presenting some information that we presented at the Creative Cities Network of Canada conference in Kingston. So this is part of the talk that I gave. And I just wanted to let you know the high numbers that we've been seeing in surveys in support of the role that museums have in civic engagement. So we have a Canadian survey where we find a very high visitation by Canadians. We have a spike in attendance from the Canada Strong Pass that allowed museums to have reduced fees. We have an American survey that shows that people are visiting museums more than other leisure and sporting places, and we find the same level of support in the UK. So this was part of a paper that we gave that talked about municipal museums and the role that they can and do play in providing municipal services. And one of those pieces is the contribution of arts and culture to the GDP, both of the country, the province, and then of our town. So we're now receiving cultural statistics through the Creative Cities Network of Canada organization, and they are allowing us to provide comparative data on the contribution of arts and culture to our GDP, which is remarkably large. So I wanted to bring this number to you. And I also wanted to allow us to look at this over time as we develop and implement our cultural plan. So I think this is really important for the community to see that there's real potential here for growth economically with the decision that the council has made to support increased arts and culture program, economic development, tourism, all of these pieces. And it's very significant. And we found that nationally, it's about 10 times the GDP impact of sports, arts and culture. Nothing against sports. Sports is awesome. Oh, let me just go back here. So the other thing is the Ontario Arts Council just did a survey of their contributions, and they were able to determine for every dollar that they invested, it generated $25 in the community. And we also found that the culture sector is providing more jobs and employment, and this is a sector that is chronically understaffed, but that there's more jobs in the cultural sector than in real estate, auto manufacturing, forestry, and mining. So now to us. So we've continued our community connections, and what's been really rich for us is that community organizations are now coming to us and looking to partner. So we had a wonderful request from the Legion to hang the World War II posters for the anniversary, the 80th anniversary for World War II, and those are staying up and have been there during evening events there, during darts competitions, and it's just been a lovely partnership that I hope continues. And we will be bringing our next ADHS veteran exhibit this year very soon, in about a month. So I just have a list of some of the organizations we've been working with lately. So we've had a number of programs this year. Some of them are organized and coordinated by community groups, and we host them and support them, co-working on those events. So there's the cleanup event that happened. It was a lovely setup in the parking lot, and we were able to support the work of that community organization. We also were able to host our own new events like Vibe Fest, which was very successful. We had a temporary exhibit that was brought by a community group, and we've now hosted several talks and workshops that are part of our Seeking Peace initiative. We have our after-school partnership that's been working very well with the recreation program. We're one site in their after-school program, and it's been a lovely opportunity for us to create connections with local families. And we had a really remarkable book on the wall art exhibit installation, and we're about to install our next. So we will be installing the first half of our next exhibit on Wednesday, and then bringing the second half next week. So if you come by either on the Wednesday afternoon or next week on Friday, you can see the installation of the new exhibit, which is about art and climate change. And I invite folks to encourage schools locally to welcome this program into their schools. We have an artist who's willing to come and do art interpretation and creation as part of culture change. I emailed Councillor Cooper about it today. They'll come for free to local schools and offer this workshop as a part of this initiative. So I'm bringing some photos here. This big giant piece of toast is from our Brook on the Wall installation, and we did a collage workshop. It's a very important piece that this artist is using art as a tool to help healing, and she's now studying art therapy and bringing all of her experience working with community groups to actually therapeutic environments. We had Vibe Fest, Vintage Flea, and a repair workshop, which was a repair cafe, which is a wonderful partnership with the town, actually. So we had Cultural Night Market. This was another wonderful year. We had incredible support from town staff. A lot of hard work was done. We brought 7 performances, 40 vendors, around 1,300 attendees, and these 2 wonderful sponsors. It was really great to have you there, and the feel on this event is remarkable. It's just a really, really wonderful evening. And what is really terrific about the Cultural Night Market is that community groups are now stepping up. Multiple families are offering their skills and performances, and so there's lots of community participation, and there's things we couldn't bring this year that we're looking to bring next year. So and those community investment in this event is really, really powerful. So here's some more awesome pictures. I was a little starstruck with our headliners. They were pretty awesome. We also had some facilities work throughout the year. I'd like to thank maintenance support for coordinating all of this. Corey has been incredibly supportive. We had some requests by the Accessibility Committee to make some changes that we were able to implement because of him. We had a wonderful painting job done in the back programming room, which has made a huge difference for our exhibits and our programs. And we have some experienced and knowledgeable electricians. Let's move on. Historic site. So our operations have led to successful grant writing, a new digital strategy. We're preparing and reviewing a new volunteer plan. We have co-op students and placement students. We are undertaking our strategic planning. So for that, we had at Witch Walk a big map of Arnprior where people were noting places of inspiration and places of connection. And those maps will then serve as tourism pieces as we move forward. So it was a great investment. And we also are now bringing some graphic novel work into future events to get conversations going that jump from the cultural night market artwork that we did connecting ancestors with the descendants. Now we've got this graphic novel piece that we'll be bringing to different places and continuing those conversations. It might seem odd to have larger community conversations when you're trying to do a strategic plan for how a museum could be a cultural hub, but obviously when I say that, you can see how it fits, that the museum needs to serve the community, and so we need to have a conversation about the community, past, present, and future, and have a feel for where people think we're going, so that as we build operational and strategic plans for the museum, they're fitting into this community vision of where the entire town is feeling it's going. So that's why a lot of our conversations are the basis are based in these larger community conversations. One of our consultants is having empathetic conversations with, or empathetic questioning with people, and asking people to be in the shoes of other people and imagining what it's like to be here as a newcomer, as a person who's descended from ancestors that have been here for millions of years. So we for millennia, pardon me, I misspoke. And so those empathetic questioning practices allow us to think about how we are going to plan the role of the museum as a cultural hub for lots of people outside of our individual personal needs and desires, but as a community and thinking of other people with other needs. So we are using these sort of arts-based and empathetic questioning practices to dig deeper into these thoughts and feelings. And that will help guide our decision-making moving forward. We've had enormous support from the town staff to do this digital file switch. The museum had a long way to go, and so we've had a lot of support to help get there, and staff are moving forward on that project. And we're developing an arrival exhibit. So that is an exhibit where we will be carrying out community conversations about how folks have arrived in Arnprior, and that is over the last 50 years. That will allow us to compare arrival from the previous several hundred years and start to think about what we're going to do about creating a space that's differently thinking or similarly thinking. We don't know yet because we haven't got the data, but we can think together about what it would feel like to arrive in the future. So we are developing training packages for people to become neighborhood historians and interview each other about arrival. That means 8-year-olds and 50-year-olds and 88-year-olds can interview each other about arrival and experiences, and then we can start to see what are some of the similarities and what are some of the differences, and how can we understand what Arnprior is today from those series of arrivals. So that training package is being developed in partnership with Carleton University, and we also have several volunteers that are doing this work to build up this project, and so we'll be rolling it out and doing those interviews in 2026, and we would love it if you could participate, because that will be the raw material for the writing and the development of the permanent exhibit in the subsequent year, which will then provide the substance for grant writing moving forward. Every exhibit that we make, even though it's permanent versus temporary, is modular, so that we can wheel things out of the way in case we need to suddenly break into dance or sing or paint. So even though it will look temporary, it will be a permanent and modifiable exhibit, so that if there's conversations that we have to have after the exhibit is installed, we have to add things, we have that capacity to do that. So we're waiting to hear what people say in order to then know what we're going to talk about. We've also brought in sensory backpacks, and we're working on some accessibility issues related to that. We have a temporary Remembrance Day exhibit coming up. That's a wonderful partnership with Nick Smith Center, and we'll also have some belongings on exhibit here at Town Hall and at the museum. And we will be rolling out our World War I exhibit with the high school collaboration. We're working on an 80th anniversary exhibit with folks from the hospital. We're working on Noche Latina, so keep posted on our social media to find out about it. And we'll be holding a strategic planning retreat in December to look at all the data with stakeholders in a charrette. And then we're building up our school tours, and I just talked about the community interviews. And I sit for questions.
Looks fantastic. Any questions for Emily? Councillor Toner?
Thank you, Emily, for that. You know, hearing all of what you just said, I mean, it's kind of hard to understand, because, I mean, there is so much, which is I think what we all had in mind 2 terms ago when we sat and we did our strategic plan, and, you know, the arts and the culture kind of made its way into one of our goals, and then it was carried through last strategic plan. So I think as a council, I know for myself, this is exactly what I wanted to see. I mean, and as far as, you know, the museum go, and the history, we always talk about things that happened like 150 years ago, but like really, I mean, 10 years ago is history too, and I think that's important. And I think for like a lot of new people in town, I mean, they're part of the history too. Whenever somebody new comes into town, I mean, they're making history for next week or next couple of years. So I really do like that you're embracing that, and you're focusing a lot of the efforts on that. So I'm really excited to see what you have in store next, and I'll be visiting and doing my part. So
Yay.
Whatever I have to do, if you need me to get on a mic or
Thank you.
paint, I'll do something. So that's great.
We have a workshop next Saturday, and then a panel the Saturday following. So we'd love to have everybody come and attend.
Okay.
Thank you.
Anyway, job well done. Thank you.
Thank you so much. I'm so glad that it's reflecting your thoughts, because that's really, really, really important. Thank you.
Councillor Cooper?
Thank you, Mayor. Emily, great presentation. Obviously a big fan of everything that's happening. I've had the pleasure of seeing it as a counselor, as a committee member, and as an educator. It really makes a difference in our town. I'm wondering about the cultural plan, if you can talk a little bit about what the cultural plan will mean. There are going to be costs associated with that, so I want to give you an opportunity to kind of sell what the development of the culture plan will mean, and how will that impact both culture in Arnprior and economic development in Arnprior moving forward.
Thank you for that opportunity, Councillor Cooper. That's an awesome thing that I'd love to talk about. So our current strategic planning process is setting the museum up to be ready for the cultural plan when we're able to get that produced. So our next 3 to 5 years, we'll be working on the museum to become a cultural hub, so that when the cultural plan is approved, that will be where we will work. We will carry out a lot of that work from there. So that's our current goal. The cultural planning process is as big or as small as we decide it to be. I spoke to a lot of people in Kingston, and I talked to them about different aspects of the cultural plan process, and the different roles of different types of consultants that we can work with to get this work done. The reason why we would want to do this is for several reasons. First of all, this is a very powerful piece of creating a sense of belonging for the community. And we know that there are people that experience things in our community that we don't want them to experience, and cultural planning needs to take seriously how we manage that, like how we think about how we are going to help people with that. It's not simply a plan to include programs into our community. It's an opportunity for us to think about what are the relevant ways that we can work with each other to help decide the future with everybody at the table. And there's tools that we use to have those conversations, because they're difficult conversations and you can't always have them just sit down and talk. You might not know what you need or what you want to do until you've had an opportunity to be creative about that. So actually the culture and the arts and the scientific experimentation that we use at the museum are designed to kind of cultivate the capacity in our community to think creatively together, to explore alternatives, to think outside the box. And that's why we hire local artists to help us think interestingly and differently about how we might want to solve some of the problems we have in front of us. Also, it's a very, very important tool for using local creative impulses and capacity to develop connections with people who are visiting Arnprior, who are bringing economic development from outside. We are in a service economy here, the manufacturing shift. As we all know, Arnprior's history has led from a significant manufacturing background to a service economy, and so we really are dependent on making sure that economic growth includes a lot of investment from people who are coming to visit the town, because otherwise it's all internally generated and it can create issues. So that investment from people outside of our community it's important for us to understand who we are and what we offer, and then we start to move and think and talk about what people are interested in and how those two things come together. And you do that through, again, arts and culture and science experimentation as a tool. Scientific, it's funny to use the word science here, but we use science as the mode of experimentation, of learning how to think through things we don't understand, or trying to explain machines we don't know how they work. So it's not science as in, necessary creating a new type of rubber, but it's more sort of this scientific method that's very similar to the exploration and self-development that you get in artistic or creative endeavors. So that's a kind of high-level way of talking about it, but what we're going to be doing in the future is walking through all these different tools that other communities have looked at, thinking about their utility and their relevance to Arnprior's past, present, and future, with as many people involved in that process as possible. But as a way of thinking through what are the changes that people might want to affect and how do you track that change. So it's not simply just implementing a lot of programs and enjoying it. It's kind of thinking about how that programming, those activity, and that collaboration solve some of the problems that we're identifying as we move forward. I hope that helps. And I've made some presentations when we have some budgetary conversations coming forward to the council that are based on the research that I've done, and I can present some more information about that at that time.
Great, thank you.
Sorry about the long-winded answer.
Oh, that was great. Thank you, Ms. Emily.
Thank you.
Very much. Very excited to see all the
Yes.
things that have happened and are coming forward as well.
I welcome you all Saturday afternoon, the next 2 Saturdays.
Okay, we have no public meetings this evening, no matters tabled, deferred, or unfinished business, no notices of motion. We do have a few staff reports. So first one up is the water filtration plant clear well replacement.
The council authorized staff to tender the defined scope of work for the water filtration plant Clearwell Number 1 replacement by invitation to a list of vendors pre-qualified through an open and transparent request for proposal process as outlined in this report. And the council pre-commit funds in the amount of $4,100,000 to be funded from the following sources: the ICIP Green Stream grant funding of $1,649,925, OCIF 2026 formula funding of $1,004,990, and the Water Reserve Fund of $1,445,085.
Thank you, Kayla. Mover and seconder, please. Councillor Cloutier, County Councillor Lynch.
Good evening, Mayor and Council. Thank you for taking the time to hear from us tonight about the Clearwell replacement pre-qualification. So in 2017, we did engage Stantec Consulting for a condition assessment of Clearwell Number 1. We had some leaks at the time. We did some crack sealing. We solved some of the problem, but leaks still persisted. So we ended up going towards the full reconstruction model. And in August of 2023, I was here to present the comprehensive options analysis for the different design options for the Clearwell. Council selected the recommended option of building the Clearwell back in a like-for-like scenario where it currently sits. So we did have to coordinate the work around the river crossing project that's currently underway. So it was a longer design window for this one. So here we are, about 2 years later, to talk about the construction process that's coming forward. The design is ready, and we've gone through a pre-qualification phase. We don't always go through pre-qualification, but for something that is so niche and dealing with waterworks, we tend to at this scale. We have historically. So we have, when we went out for an open, sorry, I'm getting used to the microphone. So we went out with an open call for request for proposals, and 9 submissions were received. And 8 of those general contractors were deemed to be suitable for this work, largely because they had worked in large-scale water wastewater before, several times at that. And we also wanted to pre-qualify key subcontractors. So with that, we're looking to pre-qualify 6 civil subcontractors, 4 mechanical, 3 electrical, and 4 concrete subcontractors, so the biggest parts of the job. And the only mandatory subcontractor on this project would be Capital Controls. They are a very specific kind of company, vendor that really only works on control systems that are so specific to plants. So they know our plant well, they have a proven track record within our plant, and the scope is relatively small. So we've specified that each general contractor must carry them as a mandatory subcontractor. The total projected budget for this project would be $4.1 million, and we have received $1.8 million in grant funds from the ISIP Green Stream, and we would be looking to kick this project off later in the winter to complete it before the end of 2026. Council could choose to direct staff to pursue an alternative procurement method, but this is certainly the most risk-averse method. Are there any questions maybe Ed may be able to answer?
Thank you, Patrick. Any questions, comments for Patrick? Councillor Toner?
Thank you, Patrick, for the presentation. Now you said it's a like for like, so we're going to dismantle the old one, and we're going to build a new one. Now the old one was built 1966, and here we are, 2025. So it's about 70 years. 59.
I was born in 65, and I'm 60, so.
Oh, okay. There you go. Well, that's better news then, yes. So, I mean, from 1966, yeah, 59, sorry, yeah, 59. So from 1966 to now, I mean, it won't be like for like. I mean, there's obviously like some improvements on the construction process, and I just wanted to ask you that. And then also, as far as thinking ahead for the future, I mean, we have 1966, there was the one clear well. I think there was another one that was added later on. The way Arnprior is going, has there been thoughts of how to incorporate a third well or expand an existing well? So I'll have you answer a couple of those
Yeah,
questions.
absolutely. So in terms of improvements, in the 60s, they didn't necessarily have engineering standards. So now we would be implementing a lot more steel, a lot more standardized concrete, and we would test a lot more. So we know what we're getting. We also have more advanced waterproofing technologies when it comes to what goes on the inside of the tank. So we're building a better concrete tank than what they could have done in the 60s, just because technology has improved that much more, and we know that much more about materials. We've got so we have 3 storage facilities for water within our network. There would be Clearwell 1 put out in the 60s, Clearwell number 2 built in 2005, and the water tower. So the Clearwell number 2 is still relatively new for its 75-year life. there might be a rehab project that comes up in 10, 15 years. We're always checking the condition of it to see when that would be required. But when it comes to a third clear well, we'll have a few options, and it depends how our growth goes. It was presented at the time when this design was selected that we are still quite a few years out from needing expansion. And when we do expand, we would probably build a third clear well. Though with this one, we are building it in a way that you can expand quite easily to it. So you'd be able to build an L shape around the new clear well and essentially just drill holes through this new clear well we're building to make it larger, should we want to in the future. The big thing is we don't want to build more than what we need right now, because, I mean, there's chlorine. We don't want to necessarily have a longer chlorine exposure time if we're not really going through as much water. But also we don't want to bring an asset online that we don't need, and then it ages for the next 10 or 15 years, and then we need it. Like, it'll end up costing us more over the next 100 years than if we just waited till we need it and only bring it online at that point. So that's the asset management phase of that. And I think I got to all your questions.
Yeah, no, that was it, and it's nice to see that this new second, like, or the number one, there's options like to expand it and kind of still keep the structural like integrity of the tank. So I mean, that's like a temporary option if we don't want to commit to a third like tank and spend all that money. We could just like expand temporarily or until we're at that we're at that point where a third one is needed. So it's nice that, you know, that's incorporated into this plan.
It gives us options for
Yes.
the future, absolutely.
Okay, excellent.
Councillor Cooper.
Thank you. Patrick, I'm just wondering, I know that the design for this was done in 2023, and we do have in this year's budget that 4.1 million. Are we pretty comfortable? I'm assuming the figures came from 2023 from the design. Are we comfortable that those figures, because a lot has happened since 2023, are we going to be sitting at that 4.1 still?
Yeah, the construction market is still relatively volatile, though we have started to see costs come down. And also that $4.1 million was presented with quite a large contingency on it because the design wasn't finalized. So we're relatively comfortable with it, but again, the construction market is pretty volatile. That being said, seeing 8 general contractors come through in this pre-qualification, it's quite a bit of work to put together these proposals, so it's likely we're going to see at least 7 bids, hopefully 8 bids. So we will see a price representative of the market for sure. We'll have a competitive price, and we feel that 4.1 is in the ballpark of being correct.
Okay, thank you.
All right, all in favor? None are opposed? Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Okay, next up we have the award of the website migration project.
The council authorized staff to move forward with the website migration project, and further that council authorized that the funding for this project to a maximum of $24,500 be funded from the Marketing and Economic Development Reserve Fund.
Thanks, Kayla. Mover and a seconder for that, please. Councillor Cloutier, Councillor Toner, Ms. Alex.
Good evening. So we're here tonight because the Town of Arnpriore's current website, which went online with iCreate from eSolutions Group in 2021, is now at its end of life. So iCreate was a product offered by eSolutions Group. eSolutions Group was bought by GHD, and GHD has identified that the iCreate platform is not supportable. It's been in use for 25 years. Our website switched to it in 2021, but it was at a point where it couldn't be sustainably kept going, especially considering the sensitive nature of municipal government websites. So GHD advised the town that the current platform is being shut down, and our end-of-life date is going to be in mid-2026. So in order for us to meet that timeline and make sure that we are not without a municipal website, we've begun looking at options for migration of our current website to a new platform. The average timeline that we're getting back for that project is about 6 months. So the challenge for us as staff is that if we wait until the 2026 budget is approved, we're cutting it really, really close. It might be challenging to have the new website up in time, and we do not want to risk being in a situation where we don't have a municipal website, particularly in an election year. So what we're doing is we're coming to council with an ask to draw some funding down from the Marketing and Economic Development Reserve for the cost of the project, up to a maximum of $24,500. So we have gone out and gotten quotes from 3 website providers that do offer municipal websites. 2 of them specialize in municipal website. A third does offer municipal websites, but it's not their kind of expertise. They do more library and museum websites and healthcare websites, but obviously they're kind of related sectors in a lot of cases. So because of the estimates that we've received, we're confident that we can award the project within the $10,000 to $25,000 range, which means it's at the authority of the CIO and department heads to kind of award the contract. We're just asking council to approve the budget from the Marketing and Economic Development Reserve. So these reserves are set aside to be used to cover costs associated with marketing and promoting the town of Arnprior, as well as economic development programs and initiatives, such as community improvement plan programming and business attraction and retention. So the municipal website is one of the main ways in which the municipality establishes and maintains an online presence and markets itself. These efforts are supported by social media, print, and other formats. However, many of these other formats rely on additional information being available on the town website. Staff therefore feel that funding of the proposed website migration project is appropriate use of the Marketing and Economic Development Reserve Fund. The Reserve Fund policy sets out that the town will contribute an amount of not less than $15,000 annually, at least until the minimum limit of $100,000 is reached. So even once or if council approves drawing down $24,500 maximum from that reserve, the new balance for the reserve would still be over the $100,000 minimum. It would be at $116,890. So it's our opinion that this will still leave the reserve in good shape.
Thank you, Alex. Questions for Alex? Councillor Cooper?
Thank you, Alex. Just more of a comment than anything, because I know if we approve this, it can be awarded. The last time that our website was migrated, we lost a lot of our search engine functionality. I know through Google, everything that had been indexed was lost. So there was a lot of broken links. So one consideration that I'd like to see whoever gets chosen as the next vendor is that we can maintain that same indexing that we have right now, the same structure as much as possible, just to minimize that transition headache, because it took a long time to rebuild, and I know a lot of people were searching for things and it would just come up as a 404 error. It wouldn't work at all. So that's just one comment that I had moving forward from it, but I'm definitely in support of this. So thank you.
Councillor Toner?
Yeah, thank you, Alex. My question is, has GHD kind of offered up like a recommendation of a new platform of some kind? Because I don't want to be here 5 years down the road saying that the new platform is going to be unsupported as well, and then we're right back into the same boat. So it would be nice to see something that is robust, or that maybe can be upgraded. Yeah, so something with newer technology. I was just making sure that whatever we get, we're going to get more than 3 or 4 years out of.
Yeah, so obviously this is something that staff are considering when we are looking at the proposals that we have received. So GHD has put forward an option. So GHD does have a new platform. They are offering something called GovStack. So that is one of the options being considered. We did also look at alternatives, because again, if we're being told you need to migrate your website, we wanted to kind of see what else was out there. So we went and looked at municipal websites from Ontario and across Canada to see kind of what other people are using, and went to those providers and asked for proposals from them as well. When talking with those providers, when you host with those providers, they offer kind of updating as they go on those websites. We are looking at, when we enter into a contract with any of these providers, asking what assurances they can give us in terms of longevity. That being said, the iCreate platform, again, was around for 25 years. So obviously a lot has changed in 25 years. They did update that platform throughout that time. The town of Arnprior wasn't using that platform for that entire time. But the challenge is, we didn't know that they were going to no longer support this. eSolutions got bought out by GHD shortly after we switched to this platform, and then GHD kind of made the assessment after that purchase. So it's definitely a concern for us, because we don't want to be in this boat in 5 years, for sure.
Councillor Lynch?
Thank you, Mayor. I'm not a techie, I'm sorry, Alec, but I'm thinking, when you have a program and it's hypothetically we're Cogeco. I'm in Cogeco, we're using that now. It's going to expire. You're going to go and ask for other providers to provide the service, i.e. Bell or ExploreNet, whatever. Will we lose all the information that I had in Cogeco? All my channels will disappear when I get the new Bell network?
So the website migration, what it means is basically they're taking what's on our existing website and they will move it to a new website. Depending on the provider we go with and their offerings, our website is going to look significantly the same. Some providers, it's going to look very much the same in terms of the structure. Visually, it might be a little flashier, but it's going to have the same structure. Things will be kind of the same drop-down menus. Other providers that we're looking at, because their offering is a little bit more fixed, would be adjusting kind of the design of our pages, but we won't be losing the pages that we have. We will just be moving the information that's on them to the new website, and as we do that, we'll be trying to make sure it's all up to date and current, so that kind of our migrated website is also refreshed with current information, where it's maybe a little bit out of date right now.
Thank you.
One question. Can we prioritize a really robust search feature on any new website that comes forward? I'm sure you've heard it too. I hear a lot from people just that they do struggle with the search options and what it chooses to spit out or prioritize.
Yeah, so I mean, all of the providers will tell you, like, we have a really robust search function, and I think when we're looking at the iCreate platform and you're talking to them about why it's out of date, they point to challenges like the search function, security, limitations on kind of editing images within the program, and incorporating video media is more challenging. So, I mean, we can hope that translates, but even when we use these platforms where they've already been implemented by other municipalities, because we can go in and kind of search, dog park and see how well it works. It's difficult to know how well it's working if you're just searching for generic things, because you don't know what it may not be showing you, whereas a resident may know, okay, well, I know there's a dog park and it's just not showing me. Mm-hmm. So we've kind of done what we can. We know their search functions work. They spit out results, and they seem to be fairly okay. But again, it's hard to know, because if you're looking for something specific, then those search results might not be exactly what you're looking for. So we're doing our best, and like I said, these providers that we are looking at specialize in municipal or kind of municipal adjacent type websites, so they're very familiar with kind of the structure and the things people look for in municipal websites, so that
Oh.
should help.
That's fair. Also not a techie, so I'll then suggest that in the very least, if it can be searched through Google, which is often sort of where we don't find the broken, that would be great. No, this is exciting. This is good. So all in favor? None are opposed? That's great. Thank you very much. Okay, I do not have my laptop, but I did take, I also have a horrible memory. Do we? Municipal grant partnership application.
The council waived 50% of the user fees and charges for the Arnprior Special Olympics municipal grant request for the use of the Nick Smith Center community pool with 2 lifeguards on Sunday afternoons. On 19 dates for use of Diamond 2 at McLean Avenue Park on Monday evenings on 16 dates at a total value of $5,966. And further, that the Arnprior Special Olympics be advised that it is mandatory to carry sufficient liability insurance and have the town of Arnprior added as an additional insured.
Thank you. Mover and a seconder for that, please. Councillor Burnett, Councillor Strike. Graham.
Good evening, Mayor and Council. So as we do with these types of grant applications at this level, we bring a report forward and kind of review what's in the guidelines of the grant application. As we know, we've supported Special Olympics for a great number of years in the community, primarily for their use of both the pool at the Nick Smith Center, kind of in that fall-winter season, and then the ball diamonds in the summer months. So everything kind of that was in Kayla's recommendation was kind of outlined in terms of the hours of use, but just to reiterate, they are looking at 19 rentals between November 2nd of this year through to the end of March of 2026, 2 hours per rental, so that's a total of 38 hours of rental time. That carries a value of just over $5,200, followed by 16 rentals at an hour and a half each, so 24 hours of total rental time from the beginning of May to the end of August of 2026, and that carries a value of $684. So the total ask is $5,966. When we evaluated everything in Special Olympics grant application through the evaluation matrix that's part of this grant policy, they were in compliance of all elements with the exception of demonstrating financial need. And the reason why that was determined not to have been demonstrated was based on their existing funds that they have in the bank, which currently totals just over $113,000, which includes a surplus of $16,000 from their 2025 budget, which when they brought their grant request forward for their 2025 ask last year, they had projected a deficit of just over $23,000. So kind of in discussing everything with Special Olympics in terms of the funds that they currently have, and what the dollar value of that might represent in terms of expenses. Part of that includes support for their emergency travel fund, new uniforms, coaching education, new equipment, and operational deficits that would approximately make up $65,000 to $75,000 of that $113,000 that exists in their savings. Therefore, it would still leave sufficient funding available for Special Olympics to cover any facility rental fees that could be included as part of this request. So that's the reason why the recommendation was to waive just 50% of the fees as opposed to the 100%. And happy to take any further questions from council on that.
Thank you, Graham. Any questions for Graham or comments on the recommendation? No. So all in favor of the recommendation then? None are opposed? No? Thank you very much. Okay. Now we'll move on to my report, which is not on my laptop, but rather in my notes here. So over the last couple of weeks, I've had several of the budget working group meetings with Jennifer and various departments. I continue to be so impressed and really appreciative of being a part of that process, and just the eye-opener and the learning that goes with that. Also, of course, we've had our big witch walk. I didn't have as long to walk around as I would have liked to, but it was amazing just to see the growth over the years. And this was also the first time I've had a chance to actually experience it as a participant. So that was something else. This past weekend, once again, our Arnprior Fire Services were out there in the water and on land doing their training, their water training, and giving up yet another full weekend. So that was something else to see. And then just this afternoon, I received my poppy, which was here, but I'm told that until Friday, I'm not allowed to actually wear it, and that's when the poppy boxes go out. So I received the poppy together with Mayor Laurie Hodnott. Actually, she was also at the Legion for that presentation. So that's it for mine. County Councillor Lynch.
Thank you, Mayor. Just to add on the water safety, to thank OPG for turning the water off. The current would have swept our guys away, and they managed to turn it off for the weekend, so it was very much appreciated. At the county level, we had a delegation from Ben Oakham and Sons Limited, represented by President Ben Fellhaver and John Yakubuski, spoke to the biomass project that requested a letter of support from the county. This project would see the burning of softwood, sawdust, and chips to make energy for the grid. And of note, the resolution was carried. Taste of the Valley on October 18th, Cobden Fairgrounds had over 6,000 visitors to their taste. The next one is December 13th, the holiday edition of Knights of Columbus on Ellis Avenue in Pembroke. The Ottawa Valley Tourism Conference is having their annual tourism conference on the 3rd of November at the Ottawa River Barn in Foresters Falls. On the county level, for wages for students employed by the county has increased under 18 from $16.20 to $16.60 and over 16 to $17.20 to $17.60. A resolution was carried dealing with the automated speed enforcement, whereas the use of ASC should be a local decision taken by municipalities as an accountable elected order of government. Again, it was carried. With the exception of Arnprior, the county has signed off snow removal contracts. And lastly, County Councillor Mayor Brose of North Algoma Wilberforce, who is on medical leave, has been replaced by Janet Reich Schnofeld. Thank you.
Thank you, County Councillor Lynch. Have we had any other committee meetings that anyone wants to raise? No? Okay, correspondence and petitions. First one, we've got the information package, please.
That the correspondence package number I-25, October 18 be received as information and filed accordingly.
Moving seconder for that, please. Councillor Cloutier, Councillor Toner. Comments, questions? County Councillor Lynch.
Thank you, Mayor. Only three on page 12. Good news for young people. And Ontario government is investing $64.2 million over the next 3 years for in-class apprentice trainings. The closest training center will be held in Ottawa on the 11th of December from 3 to 7:30 at the I Center at 4899 Uplands Drive. On page 44, the Ministry of Municipal Affairs and Housing was looking for comments on Development Charges Act that would allow payment of DC charges excuse me, to be deterred building permit issuance or first occupancy. To the CEO, did we offer any comments on this topic?
Thanks for the question. Actually, Watson and Associates, who we use as a consultant to assist us with development charges, provided comments on behalf of clients like ourselves that we were in agreement with. So we didn't submit our own, but we agreed with the comments that were being provided on our behalf.
Thank you. And on page 45, the Ministry of Environment, Conservation and Parks is accepting applications from municipalities to develop source water protection action plans. Applications to be submitted by 31 October. To the CEO, have we applied for this grant?
We have not, as of this time, we have not developed a source water protection action plan as we're not regulated to by a conservation authority, so we're not subject to that at this point.
Thank you.
Any other comments on the information package? No? All in favor? None are opposed. Thank you. Then we've got the, pardon me, the action package, please.
Correspondence package number A, 25 October 10 be received and the recommendations be brought forward for council consideration.
Mover and a seconder for that, please. Councillor Cloutier, County Councillor Lynch. No comments on that one. All in favor? Great, thank you. Okay, moving along. Bylaws, we can do those together, please.
Okay. That the following bylaws be and are hereby passed. Bylaw 762925, adopt age-friendly community plan. Bylaw 763025, appointment to Culture and Diversity Advisory Committee.
Thank you. Mover and a seconder for that, please. Councillor Cooper, Councillor Strike, all in favor? Thank you. Resolutions, please.
Can you pull out number 2, please?
Of course.
Second resolution? Okay, so the first one is the authorization for expenditure of election reserve fund in 2025 for 2026 election. Whereas through the adoption of bylaw 761225, council authorized the use of an alternative voting method, internet telephone, for the 2026 municipal and school board election and to enter into a contract for the alternative voting services. Whereas the town has entered into a contract for these services with Votes Canada Limited, and whereas the town's reserve and reserve fund policy require a resolution of council should election reserve funding be required to be expended outside of an election year. Whereas the town clerk has secured the alternative voting contract at an earlier date than in previous elections, with the first invoice coming due at the end of October 2025, being outside of the 2026 election year. Therefore, be it resolved that the Council of the Corporation of the Town of Arnprior authorize the General Manager Client Services Treasurer to pay the first invoice of $2,247.49 in 2025 from the election reserve, and further that any future invoices that may come forward prior to the year of the election as part of this 2026 election alternative voting services be authorized to be paid for utilizing the election reserve.
Moving to seconder, please. Councillor Burnett, Councillor Cloutier, all in favor? Thank you. And next one, please.
Corporate review funding, whereas Mayor McGee issued mayoral decision number MDE 2025-02, which directed the town to undertake a corporate review to be completed by the end of Q1 of 2026 through an RFP process. Therefore, be it resolved that council authorizes funding for a corporate review up to a maximum of $75,000 be funded from the Capital Expenditure Reserve Fund.
Thank you, Kayla. Moving to seconder for that, please. Councillor Cooper, Councillor Strike, and I gather you'd like to say a few things? Of course.
So I want to just say that I'm not going to support this. I don't understand the need or to spend $75,000 of the taxpayers' money to try to fix something that isn't broken, in my opinion. So I will not support that.
Thank you for your comments. All in favor? Those opposed? Thank you, that's carried. Item number 3, please. The municipal grant request.
Yes, the Council of the Corporation of the Town of Arnprior receive a municipal grant request from the Arnprior District Humane Society. And whereas the Arnprior District Humane Society is an eligible organization under the municipal grants policy and supports the community in providing shelter, food, and medical care to abandoned, abused, and neglected animals in Arnprior. Therefore, be it resolved that council approve the request for waiving the Nick Smissener Community Hall rental fees, value of approximately $365, for the Arnprior District Humane Society's Felice Naughty Dog Craft and Bake Sale to be held on November 2nd, 2025, and further that the Arnprior District Humane Society be advised that it is mandatory to carry sufficient liability insurance and have the Town of Arnprior added as an additional insured for the event.
Thank you, Kayla. I have to say that name still cracks me up years later. Mover to seconder, please. Councillor Cooper, Councillor Cloutier, all in favor? Great. Announcements. Oh, County Councillor Lynch.
Thank you, Mayor. Last Saturday, I attended the Halloween trunk giveaway, which was a huge success thanks to our staff, Amanda Harris and Autumn Hughes, who ensured all participants were looked after. I should note that one of the trunk givers was a senior couple from Ottawa that has family in Arnprior. Congrats to the organizers of the 4th Annual Witches Walk, which was another success, raising funds and food for the Longer Table and Food Bank. As well, I would like to thank the businesses of Arnprior who participated in this walk, Your participation not only made many kids happy, but also ensured the town of Arnprior is the place to be for events such as these. We're looking forward to participating in next year's walk. Our local MPP, Billy DeNote, is hosting a constituency office grand opening on 1 November from 10 till noon at 8044 Isabella Street. And Christmas is coming, the Men's Shed Craft Sale, Sunday, 16 November, 10 to 2, Nick Smith Center. See you there. Thank you.
Thank you. Other announcements? Councillor Cooper?
Thank you. Just wanted to remind everyone, this is the 45th anniversary of Arnprior McNabb Braeside Seniors at Home. They are celebrating, like I say, this year their 45th anniversary, and they're inviting everyone to join them as they share stories, highlights, and look at the programs that make a difference every day here in Arnprior. Arnprior Braeside McNabb Seniors at Home cares for and supports seniors and adults with special needs right here in our community. They're going to be having an anniversary open house this Saturday, November 1st from 12 to 2 at the St. John Chrysostom Parish Hall.
Thank you. Councillor Toner?
All right, thank you. Yes, I just want to let people know that the Arnprior McNabb Braeside Archives are having a volunteer showcase on Saturday, November 22nd from 10 until 1 at the Arnprior Library Hall and at the lower level in the archives. There's a few things that you'll be able to see. You can explore a new exhibition, the Charles McNamara, the exhibit, and you can also see volunteer projects and archival treasures, such as maps, land books, scrapbooks. You can also discover your roots, so see family history books and demos of family tree building tools, and there'll also be a special presentation from the archivist on her trip to the Archives Congress in Spain. So it's a free event. So anyone that hasn't seen the archives or is interested, now is your chance because they're opening up the vault. So this is your chance to come and explore all cool things at the archives.
Thank you, Councillor Toner. Any other announcements? No? We have no closed session. The confirmatory bylaw, if you would, please.
Yes, that bylaw 763125, being a bylaw to confirm the proceedings of the regular meeting of council held on October 27th, 2025, be and is hereby approved.
Thank you. Move in a seconder for that, please. Councillor Burnett, Councillor Cooper, all in favor? Great. And adjournment, please.
That this meeting of council be adjourned at 8:02 p.m.
Thank you. Councillor Cloutier, County Councillor Lynch, all in favor? Great. Thank you, everyone.